Why are you putting these expectations on me?
Oh, it's funny.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Monkey of the Morning. I'm your host, the Ranting Monkey. He's Jack. Say hello, Jack.
Oh, we're live. Hi, everybody. Help if I was looking at the screen. I have wheat thins.
Oh,
generic ones. And some cheese. And I was looking at that. Didn't realize you hit the live button.
I'm not a big fan of wheat thins, and especially like the regular ones that people buy and eat. Like, why would you? You said you had cheesy ones, which is better, but
Oh no, I have a block of cheese.
well, that's you're still
yeah.
adding flavor to it.
Oh yeah, you can't eat them on their own. They're amazing with like cheese, especially if you have like summer sausage and you cut it all up and make a little sandwich out of it. It's delicious. I didn't used to like them either, but
You're
I
old
don't know.
now.
Tastes change. Yeah, I'm old and I'm trying to eat slightly healthier, and they are slightly healthier than like a bag of Doritos.
Well, everything you just described, I eat, except for instead of wheat thins, I use Ritz crackers or the generic equivalent because I'm poor.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I like that buttery cracker with it. I know people who just eat wheat thins though.
Yeah, they're not like Triscuits. So the Triscuit you can eat by itself, and it's got a little bit of flavor to it. It's like a good shredded wheat, but I don't know. I just the Ritz crackers are okay, but I got kind of tired of them, and they were a little messy. Whereas these are a little, they're not necessarily thicker, but they have better durability. So if you put something on it, it doesn't make a bunch of crumbs everywhere.
Corey, thank you so much. Who says tomato basil wheat thins are amazing. I like most tomato basil crackers. Most companies get that flavoring correct. I don't know that I can say I've actually tried the wheat thin ones though.
They're not bad. There's a garden variety too that's pretty good. Also, if you've never had bagel chips with the vegetable garden cream cheese from Philadelphia cream cheese, it's amazing.
I don't eat bagels very often, and bagel bites less so, or bagel chip things even less so. I like my bread a little less concentrated.
That's fair. That's fair. But like I said, I was trying to eat slightly healthier, and these things were fairly inexpensive. And Doritos are way overpriced, and they changed the formula so it's more chemical tasting.
It doesn't have the nacho taste is gone.
Exactly, and I love the nacho cheese ones. Those are my favorites. So they changed the way they taste, and they're all they get your fingers all sticky now.
They kind of pulled a Cool Ranch on them because when Cool Ranch came out, they were really, really good, and then they watered down the flavor.
Yes.
Oh, Michael, you're speaking my language now. He says chicken in a biscuit is the supreme cracker. Oh, I love me some chicken in a biscuit.
Those are delicious, but they're too small.
We had a problem where we couldn't get them at our local Walmart. They were always out. And so one time we went in there and there was a friend of mine that I had used to work with. And I'm like, do you have these? And she looks, she goes, actually, we have a whole case. I'm get them now. And I bought like 4 of them.
That is, I believe, my case.
So like, we've been going for months trying to get them, and they just never had them, or they'd have a box. I'm like, are you guys retarded? You're clearly selling out of these. Buy more of them.
You'd think.
But I don't work there anymore, so it's not my job to make sure they make money. But I did want my damn chicken in a biscuit.
Yeah, chicken in a biscuit is delicious. It's good party snack food, and it's good like lounging munchies. And as a fat man, I can tell you what you should have at your party. For finger foods, and chicken in a biscuit's a staple.
All right, Jack. I guess we should stop talking about food and talk about real stuff, huh?
But I'm fat and I'm hungry, so we can always talk about food. But we probably should do something.
Not hungry because I ate way too much at dinner last night. We had Salisbury steaks, just the ones you get, the frozen ones, and I love those. Yeah. And I was the only one who ate much. My wife and son each only had one. I had 2, and that left 2 over. I was like, Well, I got to eat those now. I can't wait and do that tomorrow. And I paid for that. I woke up with a little heartburn, Jack.
I'll do it. Yeah.
Whoopsie. All right. We got some actual news going on today, Jack. And mostly I got annoyed. You know how it happens with me.
Oh yeah.
Because I saw an article and I should have
That's usually
saved it,
close.
but I didn't because it annoyed me that much. It was from The Hill, and it said how Texas Governor Abbott is using a loophole to get around the SCOTUS decision.
A loophole.
A loophole. That's what they said. The actual word loophole is in their There's no loophole. What they're talking about is the Supreme Court decision the other day, which did not come with any commentary, where they shot down the injunction from the Fifth Circuit Court saying that the federal government could not cut down razor wire in Texas. So the Fifth Court says you can't do it. SCOTUS comes along and says, yeah, they can. And that was all the decision was. There was no, hey, you have to remove this or anything like that. It was literally just, yes, they can cut that down if they want to. And I see this article and I get annoyed by it, but I move on with my life. And then I see a tweet from a retard.
Like you do.
Yeah. Like I do way too often. I don't even know how this fucking retard ended up on my thing. I don't think it was retweeted by anybody that I know.
Doesn't matter. Retards have a way of finding you. It's part of my freak magnetism. I fully understand this. I've been a freak magnet for a very long time. They somehow can almost summon you. They will find a way with their retard luck, because retards are very lucky people, and they will find a way to get your attention. Not even necessarily on purpose. Usually it is on purpose because they're dancing clown monkeys. But they will find a way to get your attention and enthrall you with their stupid.
And I could go with that if there was some way that he reached out to me. I do not know how this ended up on my timeline at all.
No, it's God fucking with you. That's all.
Typically, it's somebody who's responded to it that I follow or somebody who retweeted it. But anyway, he's responding to something that Elon Musk says, and what Elon says isn't really important yet because we'll get to what Elon is responding to. Elon responded to Texas Governor Greg Abbott's letter that he sent out today, which we will read in just a minute. But what Elon says isn't all that important other than Elon agreed with it. And this guy says, illegal immigration bad, helps brown people. Illegal defiance of Supreme Court, good, it hurts brown people.
Well, that's a hyper simplistic way of looking at the world.
It's not just hyper simplistic, it's entirely wrong.
No, that's never stopped these people. You know that.
There is no defiance here. There was nothing to defy.
They are defying the will of the brown people to come over and steal all our shit.
The only way you can say it's a defiance is if, like, they try to arrest a Fed for cutting the fence. That's it. But, Jack, that's not where the stupid stopped, because somehow Charlie Kirk then ended up on my timeline.
So you got the regular ones and the super big-headed ones.
The tards were out in force. And our tard friend Charlie says this. The Texas National Guard responds to Supreme Court's order to remove the razor wire in Eagle Pass by installing even more. Governor Abbott has said Texas will not back down as it defends its border. Hold the line, Texas. All right. Did you guys catch the part that annoyed me there? The Supreme Court's order to remove the razor wire. That doesn't fucking exist. There was no order to remove shit. Oh my God. Why is this so hard for people? I get it, Charlie. This got a lot of people irritated. And if you read through the comments, the number of people, look at 63,000 likes for this guy saying something fucking retarded. Provably false shit.
Well, look, Charlie Kirk's not known for his thinking skills. He's known for his giant head with a tiny face and being a Dick Tracy villain.
And this is important, guys, because one, the narrative's being set now that look at how they're being defiant. Texas isn't being defiant. And framing it that way makes it look like they're doing something horrible. AP, what's up, my friend? How you doing?
What's up, AP?
We gotta talk again. We haven't talked in forever. Black Dynamite, thank you so much. 1776 will commence again. I mean, there's no reason for it at the moment.
No, people want to frame Texas poorly because they want the stupid fucking parasites to come in and mooch off the system, and they don't care that it crushes Texas, mostly because it benefits most of the lefties. They don't like Texas. They don't like Texas getting along with brown people. They want to frame them all as a bunch of racists, and they want to flip it to a blue state, and they think the way to do that is to flood it with these economic leeches.
The narrative is being set, and this will affect voters and stuff. I mean, we just had that dumbass story about the mom and two kids who drowned, and the Texas National Guard wouldn't let the feds save them, which isn't even true.
Doesn't matter. Like I said, they're just trying to make Texas look racist, and they want all of this to be in Texas's yard and not in their backyard. Because look how much they flip out. Look how much Chicago freaked out and New York freaked out when they got one or two little buses full of people. They didn't even get a full day's worth of what Texas is dealing with, and they're like, we can't sustain this.
Yeah, and for the record, Border Patrol, from everything we've heard, is on Texas's side on this. They were like, oh, cool, yeah, we'll just go over here and stand over there instead of cutting down your wire. Yeah, that's cool. There hasn't been like a major standoff like we've seen with FBI and regular police, that kind of shit.
It could happen, and that would be incredibly bad for the country if it did.
I think
even Biden's people know that.
But Border Patrol a lot of these guys in Border Patrol actually want to patrol and secure the border, and they're not being allowed to.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because now they look like a joke, and they look like traitors. Because what are you getting when you see the Border Patrol? You see them giving out little welcome packages to a bunch of criminals that they should be arresting and throwing right back over the border. Instead, they're like, "Oh, hi, welcome aboard. Here's your free phone. Here's a gift card from an NGO, and they're gonna take you wherever you want to go."
Thank you, Michael. Oh, real quick. Thank you, Michael. I wish Texas was actually rebelling against the feds over this. Why do they have to lie? There's no reason to rebel against the feds over this. That's the whole point. And why are they lying? What we're just telling you about. It's to paint Texas in a bad light so Biden can look like the fucking hero who comes in and saves the poor Browns. Look at that one tweet I showed you. It's the illegal immigration is bad because it helps the brown people. If you help the brown people, then that's bad. This is on purpose. And people like Charlie Kirk are playing into that instead of pointing out they're not doing anything wrong.
Because they can make money off of that narrative. And it's not helping things. This is how you can actually start civil unrest, by perpetuating lies.
Yeah.
It's worked historically, so.
It works very well historically.
Yeah. And honestly, I don't think you really want to start this shit with Texas, of all people, because they could actually do something. Not only is it the state constitution to be able to pull out of the U.S., which that would draw its own legal quagmire, but a lot of the military comes from Texas.
Texas is doing something, and it's an interesting thing that they decided to do. This is from Governor Abbott today. The federal government has broken the compact between the United States and the states. The executive branch of the United States has a constitutional duty to enforce federal laws protecting states, including immigration law in the books right now. President Biden has refused to enforce those laws and has even violated them. The result is that he has smashed records for illegal immigration. All true.
Yeah, absolutely.
The anomaly can't stand Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk is one of those people who may even be on my, I'm using air quotes, on my side, but he does more damage to the argument than he helps.
Oh, yeah, he's like Nick Fuentes. And I don't trust anybody that looks like a goddamn Dick Tracy villain.
Yeah.
If there was a dude that looked like Prune Face, I'm not going to trust him inherently.
He looks like, back in the 50s, his parents would have just kept him in the basement and nobody would have known him.
Oh, yeah,
Like,
they
that's...
cleaned him up and you just hear, every now and then.
He looks like he really likes Baby Ruth.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe babies. I don't know.
Maybe?
I don't trust that dude at all because of that. Same reason I don't really trust Ethan Ralph.
I bet you Charlie Kirk can eat the fuck out of some Rocky Road. Anybody who doesn't get those jokes, your life makes me sad, okay?
Yeah, if you don't.
Despite having been put on
brothers.
Despite having been put on notice in a series of letters, one of which I delivered to him by hand, President Biden has ignored Texas's demand that he perform his constitutional duty.
I think Biden misunderstood the word duty.
Yeah, no shit.
I already did that in my pants.
My diaper's been changed. The hey, you got see, lots of you get the reference. You guys are great. Of all of the shit you think about Biden, when it comes, they're going after Mayorkas right now, right, for not defending the border the way he's supposed to. Biden is in clear violation of his oath of office to faithfully defend the country.
Oh yeah, I don't know why it's such a controversy why they want to get rid of Mayorkas. The guy hasn't done anything except facilitate more border illegal entries.
Yeah,
and help encourage it by his inaction.
And here he lists off some bullet points. President Biden has violated his oath to faithfully execute immigration law enacted by Congress. Instead of prosecuting immigrants for the federal crime of illegal entry, Biden has sent his lawyers into federal courts to sue Texas for taking action to secure the border. That's the case we're talking about here. Among other cases, of course, because the feds have several times gone after Texas. Like, you can't stop illegals.
How dare you, you racist?
But the most recent one being over the razor wire. And Texas has a right to...
criminals are getting hurt. Oh, no.
Texas has a right to defend its border if the federal government isn't doing it. Yes, the federal government has control over immigration. However, when the federal government is refusing to do its job, it does fall back to the states, and we'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah, which again brings me back to if the people that you pay and elect to do a job aren't doing it, eventually the people start to do it for you, which is why we've now got a vigilante group on the fucking border. Yeah. And eventually people are going to start getting killed en masse because that's the natural, logical conclusion of how this shit always ends.
President Biden has instructed his agencies to ignore federal statutes that mandate the detention of illegal immigrants. I love that they're calling it that too. I wish they would go with illegal aliens, but I'll take illegal immigrants. The effect is to illegally allow their en masse parole into the United States. Yes. And I just want to remind you guys again, they do not need to make these people citizens in order to get the effect that they want.
Yeah, that's just a bonus for them.
Yeah, they don't have to get these people voting for them because they're largely going to be going into places where they're already have a decent chunk of Congress people and electoral votes. And all you got to do is pump up those numbers. They don't have to be citizens. It's just the number living there. Alan, thank you so much. He says, morning, monkey. Good morning, sir. Hope you're well. So all they're doing is bringing them in. They are using a loophole, Jack. They're using the 3/5 loophole.
Yeah, I don't know if it's so much a loophole as just having a little flashback.
Yeah. See, the reason that they instituted the 3/5 rule is because slave owners wanted to count slaves when it came to population so that they could have greater representation in Congress and in the Electoral College. And the northern states were like, but those people, you don't even see them as people. And so as a compromise, they decided to count them as 3/5. It wasn't to say black people aren't full people. That was never the thing. That is a lie of modern times.
Yeah, it was to keep the plantation owners from having insane amounts of influence and power.
And even with that, they still wrote in the part about appropriation of delegates and such, because it is the right way to do it, but it should be for citizens.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be, hey, we move 100,000 illegals into El Paso, and now El Paso gets another representative. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which is what they're doing. It's literally what they're doing. Constitutional loopholes are located in the penumbra.
Yeah, right next to abortion and gun control.
Well, in this case, I mean, they never really expected it to just be a whole bunch of illegal immigrants in the country, and we're like, yeah, we'll count them. It wasn't a concern at the time. You were expected to come in and become a citizen, right?
That's how it should be. And if you're not, you're just freeloading. I mean, look, I don't have a problem if you come into work and you do all the paperwork, or you're coming to get married, whatever. But legal immigration is distinct from illegal immigration, and rewarding illegal immigration just inspires more of it. And the federal government likes to muddy the waters on that, because nobody has a problem with legal immigration. Maybe how many of them are coming in, but most people don't give a shit if you're here legally. But the feds are now like, oh no, you're just a bigot who hates all immigrants.
Yep.
No, we just don't want all these fucking weirdos that aren't vetted coming over here, spreading, antibiotic resistant tuberculosis all over the place, having a bunch of anchor babies, and then we have to pay for them.
Helen, yes. She says, wait, we got vigilantes. Yeah, there's a group now patrolling the Texas border.
Yeah. We touched on it briefly yesterday. Real quick. Thank you, Alan, for the generous donation. Says, good morning, Jack. Hope you're well. Good morning, Alan. Hope you're doing well. Everything okay over there in Chatland? But yeah, I hope you're doing well, Alan. Thanks.
Mess says, I don't want any more immigrants, legal or not. I have no problem with immigrants legal. And here's why. And I mean this sincerely, and I've said it many times. Most legal immigrants are far more passionate Americans than any lefty you run into.
Yeah. And they appreciate what is here for them.
Mm-hmm.
The rights and freedoms that we enjoy. They love America, or they wouldn't be here. They'd go home. And the ones that don't like it here end up going home. So that's fine. You want to be a visitor for a few years, get some education, whatever, help improve your shithole country. Fine. Pay the fees, do the paperwork, make sure you're not a criminal or a drug dealer or hauling a backpack full of fentanyl that could wipe out a small city or a large one for a drug cartel, and you can come in. But I don't want a bunch of illiterate third world parasites that are just going to come in and mooch off our system. Or worse, people on the terror watch list. Look at all those Chinese coming in. Looking at you, building your little biolabs in California.
All right, the final bullet point is, by wasting taxpayer dollars to tear open Texas's border security infrastructure, President Biden has enticed illegal immigrants away from the 28 legal points of entry along the state's southern border, where bridges where nobody drowns, and into the dangerous waters of the Rio Grande.
Oh, where criminals drown? Oh no, boo-hoo.
Well, he makes a valid point here. By making it so that the border is just open everywhere, you don't have control of your immigration. There's 28 separate points along the southern border that these people could come. Why do you think they're choosing to drown their children? Is it because asylum in America is just that hard to come by? Literally, they've made it so all you have to do is go asylum up to 2 years after you're in the country, by the way.
Yeah, which is bullshit also. I don't know, man. This whole thing is pissing me off.
As soon as you say asylum, they can be like, okay, yeah, you can hang out. So the only reason to do this is because they know they have no real claim.
Yeah.
And let's keep that open to them. It makes zero sense.
If it were up to me, it would look like American Ninja Warrior to get in here, and if you got in here, maybe we'll talk. But maybe you could win a fabulous prize of staying for a little while if you get past the moat full of alligators, landmines, and machine guns and razor wire, and whatever else I think of, giant robots. I don't know, pit traps.
I hear you, but I think you're being too lenient there. I think you should have to win it like 10 times.
Well, I didn't say how long this course was going to be. Also, I would probably bring back gladiatorial fights in prison. But I would be a very awful dictator. But that's neither here nor there. Nobody's going to let me be in charge of the border, because it would seriously be like a Xbox pay-per-view where you can control a sniper rifle and compete against the soldier that's on the wall for who can get the most kills. But like in Dawn of the Dead, when they're in the mall and they're telling the guy at the gun shop, like, Burt Reynolds.
Travis Gardner, thank you. I have a terrible feeling that we're going to retard our way into an incident. It will become the Reichstag fire of this election. I can see, look, when we're looking at everything going on and Biden's going to get his ass kicked in this election. How does he overcome that? He's right now trying the woman thing with Donald Trump is going to have to women. That's going to help some with his base, but they need an inciting incident. They need a George Floyd incident. They have to have something like that.
Yeah, and they tried to pump up this thing with the woman and children drowning.
Mm-hmm.
But the American people are pretty sick of this shit now, especially if you've been to the Chicago or Boston airport recently, apparently.
Yeah.
But, anybody that lives in a major city has been seeing an influx of these people and the crime that they're bringing, because they bring a third world mentality. They don't think like Americans. They're coming in with the mentality of a corrupt culture that tends to look the other way on a lot of like major crimes, hence the skyrocketing rapes, thefts, carjackings, etc. But it would not surprise me if they did try to set something up or just allow it to happen by sheer statistics of somebody shooting a bunch of these people on their land, or something like that, and they run on the, oh my god, the racism, because they've been pushing the white supremacy thing for so long. Then they can declare a state of emergency, or they can go after the cops or whatever. I think it would not be out of line for them to try and suspend the election.
Backscan says at this point, maybe we should pay the Mexican cartel to guard the border from their side. It would work a lot better than what we're doing.
Yeah.
And be cheaper.
Yeah, and probably a lot more effective than the Mexican military.
Abbott goes on to say, under President Biden's lawless border policies, more than 6 million illegals have crossed our southern border in just 3 years. That is more than and that's the known crossings, by the way.
Yeah.
That's not the gotaways. This is more than the population of 33 states in this country. This illegal refusal to protect the states has inflicted unprecedented harm on the people all across the United States. True. And again, did you notice the numbers there? We've, in just 3 years, brought more illegals in than 33 states have. This is what I'm talking about, where you don't even need to make them citizens. You can move them to Montana and completely change everything.
Yeah, the demographics would switch just naturally from the volume of people. And you're also bringing in a culture that way too. And whenever this happens, you're going to have a soft invasion. It's not just that you're bringing these people in; they bring their old world mentality and begin to want to reconnect with the old world and basically make their new town part of that country. If Mexico really wanted to reclaim Texas, Arizona, New Mexico, and Southern California, this is a great way to do it. We are de facto ceding part of the country to Mexico and or Central South America, however you want to look at it, because even Venezuelans would have more in common with Mexico than they do with the U.S. because
language alone,
yeah, just language, culture, celebrations, that sort of thing. You're going to have more in common with that, so they'd be more likely to just be like, no, we want to be with them now. And then the border shifts, and what are you going to do if you live there? Well, you're not part of any kind of standing army, most likely. Next thing you know, Mexico's a nuclear power because they just got all of those states' nuclear arsenals.
Reaper says the Hispanic population in my area seemingly tripled overnight a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And it's just going to keep going up. I mean, it's what's planned, honestly.
Yeah. And look, most legal immigrants that I've talked to are disgusted with this because of all the investment in themselves that they've had to do to get here. And it's kind of gross because you're slapping them all in the face for actually going through the process. But let me grab this real quick. Thank you, Travis Gardner. I want to line the border with gigantic Tesla coils. Think like the illegal the bug zappers that would look cool as hell and could turn them into a tourist attraction and sell tickets. I like your ideas. I'd like to subscribe to your newsletter.
Let's see. He goes on to say James Madison, Alexander Hamilton, and the other visionaries who wrote the United States Constitution foresaw the state should not be left to the mercy of a lawless president who does nothing to stop external threats like cartels smuggling millions of illegal immigrants across the border. That is why the framers included both Article 4, Section 4, which promises the federal government shall protect each state against invasion, and Article 1, Section 10, Clause 3, which acknowledges states' sovereign interest in protecting their borders, Arizona v. United States, Scalia dissenting. The failure of the Biden administration to fulfill the duties imposed by Article 4, Section 4 has triggered Article 1, Section 10, Clause 3, which reserves to this state the right of self-defense. For these reasons, I have already declared an invasion under Article 1, Section 10, Clause 3 to invoke Texas's constitutional authority to defend and protect itself. That authority is the supreme law of the land and supersedes any federal statute to the contrary. The Texas National Guard, the Texas Department of Public Safety, and other Texas personnel are acting on that authority as well as state law to secure the border. Now, there's a little bit more to this, Jack, because the clause he's talking about also makes it so that states can get together when one of them is being invaded if the federal government isn't doing their job.
Yeah, it's a superhero team up.
Yeah, so right now, it's been reported that Abbott has reached out to other governors and stuff, and it could be that we end up seeing not just the Texas National Guard down there, but maybe the Florida National Guard helping out.
Yeah, several states have already agreed to help out. Oklahoma being the first one I saw, but Montana and a few others. I retweeted somebody on this, but I saw some other people talking about it. Several governors have already come out and said that they're standing with them. I think Utah was in there as well.
Tyrai, thank you so very much. Look at Myanmar and how stable they are with all the random cultures that were let in. You can't just let a ton of people in like that.
No, you end up with cultural clash.
Especially ones who they're not interested in America. They're not interested in American values. They're interested in American money, and that is different.
Yeah, that's plundering the treasure of the U.S. via tax money. It's disgusting. Look at all the shit that we've seen them getting. There, forget where it was, but I got an article somewhere about they're building this new like housing complex just for illegals. It was somewhere in New England. I can pull it up if you're real interested, but I was like, that's disgusting. We've already seen them take over hotels in New York and several other places, displacing lots of people. Sorry, Jets fans, you don't get to stay at a hotel that you paid for. The government said nope, and they're not even reimbursing a lot of these people anymore. Philly had a problem with this, where they're just like, you have to put these people up, and the sanctuary cities have rules about this where they have to house them. And how much more of that do you have to take? How many schools have to get taken over? How many airports do you have to have illegals sleeping in before it lowers your standard of living, makes you less safe, and the government doesn't fucking care? You can't tell me there won't be pushback on that, because you will start to see the rise of groups quietly offline saying, how much of this do I have to take? My tax dollars are paying for these people. I can't get my VA benefits. I can't go see my doctor because my doctor's backed up with all these other fucking idiots. They're in the waiting room at the hospital, just sitting there, bottling up all the triage. My kid's got a serious injury, and they're going to see this person first because they don't want to look racist. Oh, my kid now has to have these other 30 kids sitting in his school that don't even speak English, and they're leeching off of the system that way because now the school's got to hire a bunch of bilingual teachers to teach these kids that aren't interested in learning anyway. It's all the little stuff that adds on. It's not just the welfare. It's not just the food stamps. It's not just the Obama phone. It's all the little ways that they bottle up the system and make it more difficult for actual citizens to get the government benefits that they're supposed to be entitled to because they're the ones paying for them. Instead, these people come in and freeload off the system like a bunch of useless eaters. Probably should
But
use
the
that
problem
phrase.
is, this is another one of those problems with the propaganda, Jack, is when it comes time for the news to report on this stuff, they don't. Instead, it's always, look at these awful right-wingers who just hate the Browns.
Yeah, and look at all how many more stories do you have to hear about a drunk driver that killed someone that's an illegal alien?
Yeah.
And then you have to dig to even find out that it's illegal alien because it says it way down at the bottom of the article if it's even mentioned. How many crimes have we reported on just on this show? It's probably been 1,000 where the criminal perpetrator wasn't illegal.
Trump does not win 2016 if it's not for Julie Steinle getting killed. Because the press had basically buried his campaign at that point, just labeling him a racist, their normal shit they do. And then that shooting happened.
Yeah.
And she gets shot in the back by, I just found that gun. It accidentally went off. And the guy basically got off for doing it anyway. This guy had been in the country, he'd been deported 5 times at that point, right? And that's the only reason that Trump gets a comeback at that time. Could he have still won? Maybe, but probably not because they buried his ass.
Yeah.
If we had the emphasis on what all is going on, because all we see, like, look at the things right now. Texas is using a loophole in the Supreme Court decision. There's no fucking loophole there.
Yeah, they don't need a loophole. This is just stupid.
This way you get to paint them as horrible, horrible fucking people.
Absolutely. And this is how you end up with some people that are very questionable being in charge because there will be pushback to this eventually, whether it happens immediately or in 5 years when things are even worse. Can you imagine if we're importing about 6 million people every year after another 4 years of this? Even smaller cities are going to look like?
I hear you, Jack, but at that time, it's too late. I mean, look what's happening in Europe. I mean, there's tons of people pissed off about all the immigration in Europe. Has it stopped?
No, because nobody's standing up and doing anything.
Because the people who are in charge are the ones who get to make those decisions, and they're all on board with this shit.
Yeah, because it doesn't affect them. They get to live in their gated communities. They don't send their kids to public school. They don't send their kids out to associate with the rabble. Thank you, Keldrick. I know neither of you are religious, but a personally obnoxious thing I've seen on Twitter is people twisting Bible verses to defend these asinine and dangerous open border policies. The Bible doesn't say allow yourself to be overrun by the foreigner. You would think that it does, but yeah, you're right. It doesn't. And that's usually those pseudo-religious people. They're like Sunday Christians.
Mm-hmm.
They just they want to justify the moral feel-goods that it brings for them, and it's not helpful.
Look at the number of people who at Christmas time tried pointing to Joseph and Mary like they were illegal immigrants.
No, they weren't.
There's nothing in the Bible that says anything about them being illegal immigrants.
No, if anything, they were returning home for the census because they were conducting a census in Nazareth.
And they were turned away at the end. They were turned away at the end because there was no room. It was full.
It was literally full of travelers.
So there's people you can take the Bible and use it to justify anything if you don't use context.
Yeah.
Or if you flat out lie about what it says. So, yeah.
But that's one of the risks you have with stuff like this. When you have a situation where there are a lot of cultural diversity issues like we're seeing now, because importing third worlders is a big difference in mentality than what we're used to. And you end up with the possibility of a strongman coming in. Somebody not like Trump, somebody that wants to actually hurt people, totalitarians and dictators. Because then they could say, all the problems you're having are right there. It's those guys.
Yep.
We need to get rid of them. And we've seen this before throughout history. I'm not going to say that German fella's name with the Oliver Hardy mustache, but it's easy for somebody to run on that platform. Even like people like the Klan have done this, where look at those people, they're causing your problems. We need to get rid of them and our lives will improve. And then if they get rid of all those people, they'll just shift to another group to maintain their power. It's happened time and time again. It's the kulaks. They were doing it. They're making your life miserable. We need to get rid of them. It's always an us versus them mentality that ends up coming through because people's lives get more difficult with this. And people are...
I'm sorry, and it doesn't help with people like Charlie Kirk. This is what I'm talking about with him. There's a good way to do this, and then there's a way to just inflame idiots.
Yes, that's the worst thing you could do is get people fired up enough that they're willing to hurt others because you're dehumanizing them. I don't like the illegal immigrants, but I still think they're people. I don't necessarily want them shot in the street. I may be slightly indifferent on it, but I don't want to see people killed. I want these people to go home and fix their country instead of doing the lazy, easy thing of coming and leeching off someone else. So go home, fix your own backyard, and then talk to us about being friends. But none of these illegals should ever be American citizens. Ever.
Let me throw out something else here. The only time we saw a really decent decline in illegal immigration was with COVID. Do you think the
God, he ducked out. Now it's a cliffhanger. Damn it.
God damn it.
I'll watch Radar Men from the Moon. You got to start over.
Bitch.
Do you think what?
Do you think maybe that the COVID thing got it suddenly passed the way it did, even though people still die of COVID, Jack?
Oh yeah.
But it's the only thing we've seen that actually stopped illegals coming in mass.
Yeah, because people were afraid. And that fear is what drives a lot of policy.
Nobody, not me, said this a moment ago. The LA Times firing are an improvement for modern journalism. Wonder how they would be covering this. Well, not really. The firings at the LA Times are at times is funny.
Oh, did he drop again? The LA Times are the ones that reported on that vigilante group that I talked about yesterday. Monkey. See, I think he picked this because he knew it pissed me off. So I'm all fired up now. I'm angry because it's one of the few topics that legitimately pisses me off. Monkey. Oh.
Son of a bitch.
There you are. There you are. I was a little worried.
Anyway, the LA Times firings. Did you see that story?
Yes.
So as much as I would love to cheer that on, and I do think it's funny that so many of them got fired, it has more to do with a union fight than it has to do with, actually caring about journalistic integrity.
Yeah.
I was reading through several of all of these reporters are on Twitter like, oh my God, I got fired. I can't believe I got fired.
Yeah.
They got fired because, well, their union sucks. And by the way, unions, way to help them out.
Unions helping? Whatever.
Unions help. They wanted, they were going to be laying people off anyway. And so what they did is start attacking the company, which is always a smart thing to do.
Oh, yeah, because nothing says I want to keep my job and get hired back by shitting all over your employer.
Anyhow, who the hell thought it was about journalistic integrity? There's people who think that it's, hey, look, you went woke, you went broke. It's not that. It's not them learning any lesson or even a lesson to be learned other than stop working with unions. They're bad for business. I saw this one chick. She wrote a book called Hate Monger, something about Trump.
Yeah.
And she said, today I was let go with 100 of my best fellow employees. I feel like they probably, if they could fire their best employees and nobody will notice a difference, you weren't that good of employees to begin with. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's fair.
How aroused do you think Tim Pool is?
Oh, the Civil War talk? Oh, I'm sure he's got a mega Civil War boner.
I don't know, because Civil War is not trending and Tim Pool doesn't talk about shit unless it's trending. Tim Pool is not an innovator. He's a follower. So if it starts trending, if Civil War starts trending, yeah, he'll get a boner because then he'll be like, oh, I can jump on the back of that and pretend I had a thought.
And then he'll talk himself out of it halfway through his sentence. Yeah, let me read a couple of headlines here that are kind of related to stuff I was talking about, so you know I'm not talking entirely out of my ass, just full of rage. Brunswick, Maine is building 5 luxury buildings for illegal immigrants.
Well, as illegals, from what I've heard, a Super 8 would be luxury to them, wouldn't it?
It would be, but this is a $3.5 million expenditure for 60 migrant families on 24 high-end apartments in Brunswick, Maine. So, Brunswick, Maine not being, the cultural epicenter of anything other than probably Bigfoot and snow.
How many illegals are in Brunswick, Maine?
They currently have 4,000 homeless residents. But these are specifically for illegals. The whole move is a slap in the face to tax-paying Americans, according to the article. But I'm going to drop the link because it's just one we never got to. It's a little old at this point, but
I'm just, I mean, they mentioned the number of homeless is 4,000 and something, but how many of them are actually illegals? What I'm getting at is
60 families, barely.
It's Brunswick, Maine.
Yeah. That's not even the size of a grown-up city.
Huh. All right.
But yeah, this is for 60 migrant families. They call them migrants.
Illegals, yeah.
Yeah, but I'm good. I just dropped the link in the chats if anybody wants to read it. Also, Denver hospitals want a federal bailout as illegal immigrants are flooding their system. If I remember correctly, Denver is not in a border state.
Nope.
So, good job on that one. But Colorado does have the most sun of the states year round. I mean, I got a buddy who lives by Denver.
Greg says the homeless can sleep outside the complex. Yeah, they're going to have to.
Yeah, well, fuck American citizens is kind of the mentality here. And the other one I had that we did get to, and maybe I'll do a big rant on this some other time. Shelters in Philadelphia say the city is stiffing them on payments for housing homeless after the government agency overseeing the program overspent its budget by $15 million in the last 4 years.
Imagine all of the money we spend on these illegals just going to the homeless. Look, you and I've talked about this before. Just throwing money at the homeless doesn't fix the problem.
It's never fixed the problem. And we would not have these problems if they hadn't shut the mental institutions down, because that's where most of these people were.
But at least then that money would be going to try to help Americans.
Yeah.
6 million people. That is just in 3 years. That is not all of the illegals here. Which, oddly enough, they're now telling me is only 9 million, with 6 million of them coming in 3 years.
Bullshit.
Yeah, it's utter bullshit. 100% bullshit. But imagine all of the money that goes to hospitals, schools, police resources, all of that shit being used on Americans.
Yeah. Yep.
The American homeless population, not counting illegals, isn't it only somewhere in the neighborhood of like 1 million?
It's not that many. Over half of them are located in the West Coast, mostly California.
And we brought in at least 6 times as many illegals in just 3 years.
Yeah. Yeah. And not to mention the illegals that were already here or the ones we don't know about. There's probably 32 million illegals here. For that, not just in the last 3 years, but total.
Yeah, and we have ways of fixing this problem. I mean,
they just have to enforce the laws that are on the books.
Yeah,
you're not supposed to be here. Get out.
But instead, what do we hear every fucking time? We need immigration reform. No, we don't. We don't need immigration reform. We need to follow the fucking law.
Every time somebody says we need immigration reform, the only thing I hear is we want amnesty.
Because that's what they mean.
Yep.
We need a fast path for them to get to become citizens. No, we don't. We're not hurting for people so badly that we need to fast track people into the country. Maybe doctors, maybe mental health professionals, because they're all out there now trying to turn little girls into little boys.
Yeah.
But we don't need an influx of fast food workers. And this is where they get mad at Donald Trump saying they're not sending their best. Yeah, I mean, he also was talking about criminals, but when you look at illegals, you're not talking about some doctor from Nicaragua sneaking over so he can be a doctor here instead. You're talking about somebody with no education who probably has 5 or 6 kids that he's not bringing with him because he's going to send money home. You're not talking about people, skilled workers.
No, most of these people are illiterate. The ones that aren't terrorists, anyway.
They don't speak the majority. We really do need to just make English the official language.
Absolutely.
And look, that doesn't mean you can't speak other languages. It just means that if you want to be here, you have to speak English. There's nothing wrong with that. And I'm not against people learning second languages, Jack. If you want to learn Spanish, cool. You shouldn't have to in order to be somewhere in the United States.
No, there's a reason English is internationally used as the business language. It's the Latin of its time. Because it's fucking awesome and it does everything in commerce. Because we're awesome and we've been kicking ass for 200 years. So fuck off, learn English or get out.
We need a fast path out of the country for them. Is there a way to make a catapult semi-automatic? Yes. And I've thought this through, Jack.
Oh, yeah? We gonna have a rotating trebuchet that looks like a Ferris wheel?
Yes, exactly.
Man, nailed it in one. Woo!
And it doesn't even have to slow down. Because you'd have a thing at the top where they reach the top and the seat itself flings them.
Yes, we have to play Enter the Gladiators, though. And it'd be circus folk that like put them in the... Oh, man. Yeah, we'll make them afraid of American clowns.
Yeah, exactly. Dangerous. How dare Trump say they're not sending their best? Also, who will clean your toilet? Yeah. That's who the elites think is the best, is the people who clean their toilets and watch their kids and mow their lawns and do all the shit that they're too lazy to do themselves.
When they say that things like that, I just hear house and then a word we're not allowed to say. Because that's really what they want.
You're not wrong. They want a house Mexican is what they want.
Yeah. Yeah. One that has a little bit of Spanglish going, like they learned 5 words and yes, sir. No,
they want Consuela.
Yeah. No.
Pat says it's got to affect the liberal white women, though, because they're the ones who are cheering this on. I will keep beating this drum. Women are ruining this country.
Absolutely.
And again, it's not because you're bad people. It's the opposite. You fucking women, you got to get out of your emotions. And, oh, my God, a child died in that river. Yeah, it sucks.
What happened to women? Women used to be actually kind of cool. And then they got all like, oh my God, my feelings. They all
No.
turned into Letitia from
Because
AP's channel.
men stopped telling them no. That's what the problem is.
Yeah,
This is why I
women,
always say they're responsible, but we're the ones who did it. Because
women
men
work
won't
best
tell
with
women to shut the fuck up when they say stupid shit.
yeah, because women work best with boundaries, like little children, because they're tiny girl brains. But also, you can't just give them everything they want. They don't know what to do then. They get confused and overwhelmed. And then they get all in their emotions
Okay,
and shit goes south.
Jack's going way misogynistic when all I'm saying is you guys are too empathetic.
Am I wrong though? Because in the 1950s, I could hear everybody going, "He's right. That's pretty obvious. You gotta keep them bitches in line." But ever since we started doing everything through the feminine lens, everything has started to suck, and it's so noticeable now. They've ruined Star Wars. The they've ruined superheroes. They've ruined all of pop culture. They've shit on everything you've loved because that's just not for boysies. You can't have things. You can't have nice things because we said so. No, that's bullshit. So knock it off, ladies. I'm sorry these people are poor. The world is full of poor people. You know why? Because most people are poor. Poverty is never going away. There will always be people that are either stupid or uneducated or just make bad decisions, and all their stuff goes away. They can't keep their money. They buy $7 lattes instead of paying their rent. They buy shiny bling or gold teeth or whatever they're fucking doing with their money to waste it away instead of investing in themselves and their future, or the fact that they just live in a poor country and they refuse to do anything about all their useful natural resources. Looking at you, South America. Corruption, whatever. It's just the way things are. You have to accept that you can't save everybody, because then if you do that, everybody gets poor.
Number one says the metrosexual was the start of this. No. It started long before that. This goes all the way back to the at least the 60s with your hippies, probably back to the suffrage movement itself. And I'm not against women voting. I'm really not. I'm against women voting with their emotions, which happens way too often. And unfortunately, I don't know how to do anything to solve the problem because, as Pat said, pussy's been put on a pedestal.
Yeah.
We had. Can you imagine a year of the man? We had a year of the woman. We had International Women's Day celebrated like it actually meant a fucking thing, while International Men's Day was ignored over and over again. And men were like, but women are the majority of the country. They are the majority. And they are making the decisions. But they're still looked upon as though they're the most oppressed people ever. We do everything in this country now based on what women want. And to a degree, we always have, because it's always been, civilization is about making women comfortable. It really is.
Yeah, it is. But now we've made them too comfortable.
It's not. You're right about making them too comfortable. But the issue is that we just don't tell them no.
Yeah, I'm just saying the things you're all thinking.
The only time you're allowed to tell a woman no is if she's a conservative who says, hey, we shouldn't do this. And then you can call her a dirty fucking whore. You say anything you want about her. But as long as she's on the right side of the leftist paradigm, how dare you question that dirty whore?
And ironically, since we've given women so much more latitude and overly encouraged and supported them, what do? They go out and become giant whores. They go out and just bang a bunch of dudes, and then they're like, I want to settle down now. You have to treat me like a princess. That we've lost everything that made us want to do things for them. The chastity of it, that they were the gatekeepers of sex, and that made us go out and build things and innovate. And now what do most guys want to do? They want to stay home and play Call of Duty because it's not worth it.
Michael, thank you. I'm not against women voting. I'm against their votes counting. Monkey 2024. I think I originally said that back in 2020, actually. Might even have been earlier than that.
We caught some shit for that one when you first really kind of leaned into that.
I still stand by it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love women. I do. But your empathy is your is your biggest weakness. It's your greatest strength, but it's your biggest weakness. And men giving into them, it's okay to tell them no when there's a bad idea. Look at everything. Pick anything that we can look at and say that's a bad thing happening in society right now. Anything. The illegal immigration, the trans kid crap, any of this shit, and over taxation, all of it boils down to we have to protect people and make everything perfect for them. The bullshit equity nonsense, communism in general.
Yeah.
The whole reason for it is to protect people. That not protect people from a foreign invasion or from somebody actually hurting them. But I saw again just the other day somebody bitching. I'm not making this up because somebody in a forum used the word German, and the word German is gendered. You're supposed to use Germanics.
Germanics? What?
Germxn. German, but instead of man, it's MXN. And I'm not making this up.
For fuck's sake. Like Latinx wasn't stupid enough.
Wait. It makes it unsafe for people if you say German. Now, unless you're Polish or Israeli, that probably shouldn't be a thing.
Probably not. It's fucking dumb.
But serious, I'm not kidding. This was something I read, and this is one of. But if I see the word man, it hurts my feeling. It all comes back to fucking feelings. And who does that come from? It's not. I read a story from that chick who said she got fired with 100 of her greatest people. I went and read one of her stories where she was talking about why men are withdrawing from society. And the one thing she never hits on, even though she does without realizing it, is the feminization of men. Because she says, oh, it's not just about traditional gender roles, or Gen Z wouldn't feel more isolated than everyone else. That shows it's about traditional gender roles because you fucking idiots have tried to get rid of them. And suddenly there's a problem.
Yeah, look. I'm sorry, but most women want to be led. They want a strong man who's going to protect them and their family and their offspring. And they want that, but they don't want to admit that these days because you don't need no man.
They've been taught not to.
Yeah, they've been taught to hate it, and that's why they're all a bunch of miserable crones. I've never seen so many miserable people in my almost 50 years on this fucking orb than I have in the last, 5. And I've been around a while. I've been near a lot of big universities, and women are much more miserable now than they were in the 90s when, PCU came out.
We have to say this because of the rise of the manosphere. When you say being led and protected, we're not talking Andrew Tate levels where you pretend that you're a pimp.
Yeah.
But just being the man of the house. Women like a strong man.
Yeah.
And if you don't believe me, look at how many of the fucking little feminist little bitches have actually gone on to be with strong men.
Yeah, they don't choose these beta boys that they're creating and that they advocate for.
They don't pick want guys. That.
They want a dude that makes a lot of money or at least is stable and will provide for them, whether it's physical protection, financial protection, whatever. There are stereotypes that are accurate, and they want a guy that is strong that will make decisive moves and be masculine. But they advocate for the exact opposite, and it's really destroying social interaction between men and women. And it is so frustrating to be on the dating scene right now because you have to navigate this minefield of hypocrisy.
The problem is men and women have different roles. If you look back through societies, men may have been the head of the household, but who ran the house? It's always been women. Their strength is in a whole different place. And instead of celebrating that, the feminist movement comes along and it's like, no, we're just like men. You're not. They've actually hampered women with this shit.
Yeah. Yeah. And like Dangerous said, high earning women are very frustrated and angry because they can't find somebody who's on their level or higher.
Yes. And women we've talked about that before. Women, poll after poll and actual marriage statistics and stuff tell us Women will not settle for a man who's worse off for them. If he's making less money, yeah, it might sound right. Be like, oh yeah, I don't mind if my husband makes less money than me. Yeah, then why are you fucking your boss?
Yeah. Why are you going for men in positions of power? It's they've set these unrealistic expectations, and then women are disappointed when they can't fulfill those. You can't have it all. You have to make decisions in life, and you have to live with the consequences. And look at what happened in places like Sweden, where they were trying that. Oh, we have to do equity, and everybody has to be able to pursue what they want to do. What happens? Women end up going into nursing and teaching and staying at home.
Wait, why are we bringing Polish people into this? With my Germany analogy, you don't understand that? Check out 1939-ish.
Yeah. There was this guy did a world tour.
He did a
Lasted
world
for
tour.
a few years.
It was really big in Europe for a while.
Yeah. When I was in high school, a buddy of mine had a T-shirt that said Adolf Hitler's world tour, and it had the dates of all the cities that he invaded on the back.
Oh wow!
And he wore it to school, and nobody got in trouble for that.
Well, did you see that lady? And I saw it on Twitter a little while ago. She's a Muslim Irish chick who's like, I like Ireland and everything, but the one problem I have is people make jokes about things they shouldn't make jokes about, and they really shouldn't be making jokes. We're not allowed to make jokes anymore. Why?
No,
Because of women.
it hurts feelings.
That's not nice. I'm shocked by the amount of women that watch this show because we say some horrible fucking shit here.
I know, you're a monster.
I've said some pretty fucked up things on this show, but they're jokes.
Yeah. Well, you get blamed for everything I say.
It gives me a little bit of faith left in women that there are some who will laugh at horrible shit still.
Yeah. Look, I'd be really, really frustrated and probably MGTOW if it wasn't for the women I talk to in my everyday life and the ones I see in chat, because it gives you hope that there are normal people still out there that just want to be in a happy, healthy, loving relationship that doesn't involve weird power dynamics and fucked up gender nonsense. They just want to be happy. And we don't see that very often anymore.
Assassin says keyword in that sentence was Muslim. No, it wasn't. The key word was women. Muslim women aren't the ones who gave us politically correct humor back in the 90s.
Yeah.
That was white women.
Islam was right about women.
That was that. Yes, exactly. That was your average honky chick running around like, you can't make people laugh at jokes about different races or different ethnicities, and it'll hurt somebody's feelings. It shows that you are really racist. It means we laugh at stereotypes. Shut up.
Yeah, it's all in good fun, guys. We would all still be in mud huts if it was up to women. I don't know. That's different. I don't like it.
There are balance. It's supposed to be our balance. We are the more logical ones. They're the more emotional ones, and we're supposed to come together and be like, all right, you're right. We shouldn't just let people starve in the street, but we also shouldn't be, hey, it's our job to make sure everybody has a meal at all times. And instead, we're just like, whatever the woman says, we'll go with that. Whatever that crying bitch over there had to say, we'll go with Nikki Haley. Forget the fact the bitch can't count.
yeah. Especially dudes that have been rotating. I mean,
nobody can count. That. Asians can't count that high, man.
without their abacus. Oh, sexy Asian ladies. Anyway, yeah. Oh God, if Nikki Haley gets in office, we are going to end up in a war.
I saw several articles. I just have Greg Abbott on the screen because that's who we were talking about. We've moved way past him. I don't know why.
Yeah,
he's still up
we
there.
Drifted from the one thing that enrages me to another.
Well, they're connected though. They really are, because this kind of thinking does come from the more feminist, empathetic, we have to take care of them brain. And it sucks that their country sucks. but it's not going to get better by them coming here and making my country suck. But they just want a better life. They don't need it. I want a better life. Should I go to somebody else's country and be like, I'm going to take your shit?
It's called redistributionism, monkey.
One of the greatest things about that is that a lot of these people are the ones like, the Americans just came in, the Europeans, sorry, we weren't American yet, and took all the land. And that was wrong, but it's okay for these people to do it.
Yeah, well, because they said so. It's in their feelings. Yeah. I'm 99% sure. I'm going to claim the foundation of this conspiracy theory now. Karl Marx was a woman.
Karl Marx was absolutely a woman. Communism is feminist nonsense.
Yeah, it's that. Oh, but it I don't like the sadness of poverty. Nobody does. No, poor people hate it. They're not like, I love being poor. No, nobody fucking wants to be poor. But there's not. You can't create equity. It's impossible. Everybody is not the same. People are different. And some people are dumb or incompetent or crippled or whatever, and they're not going to be super successful. Not every wheelchair-bound person is Stephen Hawking's. Some of them that look like that are fucking drooling retards, and they're going to need to be taken care of their entire lives. They're not going to go be rocket scientists. I don't want them building Boeing airplanes for me.
Dangerous asks our thoughts on people saying Nikki should be VP. They say to guarantee a removal of Trump and letting Nikki take over. I think I don't want to guess too much because I haven't read a bunch of that. Most of the things that I see where people are like Nikki for VP, everybody's like, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, if she's on the VP ticket, I'm not voting for Trump.
There's an argument to be made to have Nikki as the VP.
There is an argument. It's a terrible one.
No, it's not. It's not. There's especially with women. She does better with women from what we've seen recently, especially in New Hampshire. She has taken the more soft-hearted line on abortion, which is for some reason the thing that women are voting based on because nothing is more important than their ability not to use a condom. So if you were looking at it from that respect and looking at it to like, hey, we got to get more of the women vote, Nikki does make sense. Does she make sense in the overall? No. Not if you actually care about changes you want made. If all you're worried about is winning, then yeah, she's better for it.
Yeah, she's a warmongering, gun-grabbing swamp rat.
Yeah,
who's more invested in Boeing's stock than the American people. She will try very hard to get us in a war just to help her stock price, I think. Because I don't put that past her.
No, stop hiring HR women. All right.
Yeah.
There's two separate arguments here. The political reality and what's best for everything. The political reality is of all the people that ran in the election so far, Nikki is the best choice for VP. Not because she'd be a good VP, but because she would bring, if anybody's going to bring votes to Trump, it would be her.
Yeah, she would bring a lot of the more left-leaning independents and left-leaning, the rhino category. But that's exactly what we're all supposedly fighting against is that bullshit. And
that's the other part of the argument, the reality argument, the what is going to happen if she is VP argument. So when it comes to that, I think Trump will probably pick a woman. Just for the look of it. If he doesn't, his best other bet would be picking Tim Scott, who we had questions about his candidacy anyway that never really got answered, Jack.
True.
How did all of your money just go through one group in modern politics? Anyway.
Wasn't that the weirdest article that got buried so fast?
And you know what? I have a feeling that there's a lot of reporters out there who are thinking like me and that Tim Scott is the best VP candidate. And this is something they can wait and use in the general election against him.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. He had no chance of winning the nomination. So why pull that trigger now? Why not wait until he's going against knee pads over there in a debate and bring it up?
Yeah, like I don't hate Tim Scott. He'd probably be an okay VP. I still think
He'd be
Vivek
fine.
would be better.
He would be, especially if you're looking long term. Again, Jack, this is politics versus the reality of what I want.
Yeah.
You set up Vivek for 2028. That's a win. If you're just trying to pull in votes, you go with the guy who's got a decently solid record as a conservative, has dark pigmentation. And well, what are they going to do then? Trump picked a black guy because he's racist.
Well, they have said Larry Elder's a white supremacist.
He's a white supremacist. Yeah, there was an article recirculating the other day. It's actually from 2021. I forget her name. I want to say it was in the New York Times, where she's an Asian woman, and it said that black people assaulting Asians was actually white supremacy.
Yeah, that's how that works.
Well, her contention was that white supremacy is made it so that no other race really matters. So therefore, black people don't see Asians as people because white people told them that they're not actually people.
That's retarded.
Will you vote if Vivek runs in 28? I vote every year. But if you're asking me if I would vote for Vivek right now, yeah, absolutely. I would vote for Vivek Ramaswamy. I like Vivek and all of his rhetoric so far. And he is an outsider. So it's not one of those cases where you have a Republican running, George Bush, who runs on conservative things and then gets into office and immediately acts like a Democrat, George Bush. Bending over for unions, George Bush.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I could support Vivek.
Keister said Lee Zeldin might be on the list.
Why do I know that name?
He ran for governor of New York.
Oh.
He almost got it to, or mayor of New York City. I don't remember. He was running in New York. He's out of there. Pretty staunch conservative. Could be interesting. And Carrie Lake's name has been floating around too. I don't know.
Carrie Lake. I hear you, and I get the arguments for it, but she's female Trump. She doesn't really help with anything. If anything, she's going to alienate. One, she's too pretty.
I think the one a lot of people are overlooking, and I've seen her name in the chat at least once, Kristi Noem.
Noem, yes.
Yeah.
Noem would be a good one. Although there's some questions about her that have been floating around about possible corruption with
she's had some scandals.
Yeah, with some family or friends of family getting contracts. Unfortunately, you're not going to find a perfect person. But I do think that if Donald Trump is at all worried about electorate, right, you have to go with a majority person, a woman, or some minority. If he picks another Mike Pence, like, find me the whitest guy you can find, you might as well not even pick a VP.
Well, Kristi Noem fits the bill well because she's Native American heritage, and she's a woman, obviously.
Sure.
And she's kind of cute. So you got a lot going on there. She's relatively conservative overall. So there's some potential there. But she's from a podunk state that doesn't really do much for him there.
Yeah, so the question about whether Nikki Haley, I get the arguments for Haley, as much as I fucking hate that bitch. Politically, it would make sense. That's just the reality of the world we live in, where most people still get their media from the same places they've got it for the last 80 years.
Yeah.
So I'm not supporting Haley as VP. Fuck no, I want Ramaswamy.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that would be a winning ticket for him.
If he picks Ramaswamy as his VP, I will vote for Trump.
Yeah, that would be the ultimate outsider combination.
Yep. If he picks somebody else, I might vote for my wife again. It would depend on who he picked, honestly.
Yeah.
Because Trump's, this next election, the VP that Trump runs with is the heir apparent to 2028.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we'll see. What's wrong with... we have some people from South Carolina who are not, or sorry, South Dakota who are not real happy with
Yeah.
no.
They're having the same issue that Iowa's having, where they're putting in that carbon pipeline and they're eminent domaining a bunch of farms to do that.
Oh yeah.
Nome's been a big part of that. That's one of the major scandals. That she had some issue with transgenders a few years ago, where she was kind of pandering, but she's a woman. That's to be expected.
Vivek basically knelt to him and prayed his last speech, so I can see him as a VP choice. He was never against Trump. His only arguments against Trump was that they won't let him become president.
Yeah.
Vivek is the only one the whole time was like, Trump was great. Trump was great. The only thing Trump did wrong was rely on the wrong people. The very tack that I said somebody should take before I'd ever heard Vivek's name. Vivek, stop stealing my shit. What are you, Steven Crowder?
Steal our jokes like they're Steven Crowder.
He laid on pretty thick, you have to admit. Did you watch his campaigning? I don't think he did anything different than he had anywhere else, honestly. Noam also threw Trump under the bus after the 2020 stuff.
Oh,
well,
yeah.
All right. There's another political reality there. Yes, I appreciate the Republicans who stood on principle, but the vast majority of Republicans will always bend the knee, to use the phrase everybody loves so much, bend the knee to the press. And when the press is out there going, there was an insurrection, Trump lied about winning, you were almost forced to go, yeah, of course Biden won the election. Now,
think
Biden,
of the Republican. Sorry, go ahead.
Say Biden, whether you like it or not, is the duly sworn in president of the United States. Yeah. Did he actually win the election? I don't know if we can talk about that.
Yeah. Stupid YouTube. The Republicans are sort of in a battered wife syndrome with the press. That they will capitulate and flinch like they're going to get a second lesson on the dishes. And they hate winning because of that, because they always feel bad. Like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to win.
All right, Vivek is still an unknown. So I'm going to put him aside because I hope he would, rule the way he said he would. But if you look at the Republicans out there and the ones who were effective and who took the right lesson of Trump, DeSantis is probably the best VP choice. And what I mean by that is DeSantis is one of the few who, no matter what the press comes at him with, is like, go fuck yourself. I'm going to do what I said I was going to do.
Yeah.
And in that regard, I have a lot of respect for Ron DeSantis. And I really, this was the fear of the press, is that because of Trump standing up to them, that other Republicans would start doing so too. And most of them are still the same giant pussies they've always been, like, but my paycheck, I might lose my job, not realizing that what they were put in there to do, that they said they would do, is how they got elected in the first fucking place.
Look, your hate facts have no place here.
We're going to build the border wall. Are you going to fund it? Oh, what'd the press say about that?
Yeah. I don't know, because if I actually accomplish something, I'll be held to a standard, and then I can't run on that anymore, and the press will be mad at me, and the Democrats will be mad. I won't get invited to parties, so I don't think I want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh. Pussies.
Kinky Boots is owned by the Bush publicans now. Stop getting your news from Twitter. Or if you're going to do it, at least go read the actual. DeSantis did not become some Bush dude. That was just the talking point of the Trump zealots. Because for all the TDS out there, there's now the Trump cult. There really is a group of these people who are fucking insane.
Oh, yeah. A little too much time on their hands.
Yeah. DeSantis, of the known quantities, would be the best choice going forward for 2028. I wouldn't be opposed to Scott. I wouldn't necessarily be opposed to quite a few people. But if you're looking for one who's going to stand up to the media, which for me is a big thing, because Biden's a problem, Jack. But Biden is a symptom. Biden is a symptom of the press that we have.
Oh, I thought you were going to go with dementia, but yeah, the
No,
press
no, that's
too.
a symptom Biden has.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah.
Misunderstood you on that one.
Biden is just the symptom of what we get from the press.
Why do people watch this show, dude?
I have no idea. Jeb still has a path to victory. Please clap. The reality is Jeb probably would have done okay this time.
Oh, yeah. Thank God he failed miserably last time.
Yeah. He would be the last man standing instead of Nikki Haley.
And she's basically running on a lot of the same stuff that he would have.
Yep.
Because she's another rhino sellout that's just a Democrat in Republican clothing.
He could have come in with a return to normalcy, right?
Yeah.
He could have pulled the Joe Biden line. I do want to talk about this real quick, and then we'll get to the articles you brought, Jack. Donald Trump won. They're not putting this in the headlines the way they normally would. Typically, when there's a court case, they tell you so-and-so won this. Maine dismisses appeal of Trump ballot decision. Well, if you don't know what the original decision was, you don't know what this is, right? Because it sounds like we all know that Maine said Trump can't be on the ballot. This sounds like they were appealing him being on the ballot, and they're like, no, we're dismissing that. That's not what happened here. So that idiot in Maine, the attorney general, she comes out and like, Donald Trump can't be on here because insurrection. And a court came out after that and said that she has to wait until the Supreme Court rules on the Colorado case. And then another court came out and said, no, you don't have to wait. You have to wait. She appealed having to wait. That's what it is. She appealed having to wait, and it is that got thrown out. So what this means is that Trump right now is allowed on the ballot. She's not allowed to remove him from the ballot. This should say Trump wins big in Maine ballot case.
Oh, sorry. Trump's not allowed to win. That's been disallowed by the current administration.
We saw with the Supreme Court decision, we saw about the razor wire, like in a win for the Biden administration. That was all over the place. In a win for the Biden administration. This is a win for the Trump campaign. But it dismisses it. It makes it sound like it's still allowed. Tall person, thank you so much. He says, good morning, getting ready for work. We'll watch in full later. Happy National Irish Coffee Day. We're boycotting the Irish right now for making a Muslim woman feel bad.
Well, somebody is. I'm not.
Good
job, Ireland.
You made they made jokes. Fuck off.
Oh my God, the Irish made jokes. Yeah, the Irish are hilarious. Shut up.
How are you a Muslim woman with that thin a skin, for fuck's sake?
Because she's used to being in a hot, sweaty place where people are, in the sun all the time, as opposed to being in a gray, overcast shithole.
You know what?
Scenery and not being happy because you're drunk.
I think the problem there is that she's too young to be married, so she hasn't gotten beaten enough to get the thick skin.
Oh, what is she, 7?
Yeah, she's kind of young. I mean, you're right. By there, I think she was like 16 to 18. So by there, she's an old maid, but
she's an old spinster. But
yeah.
Don't fuck with the Irish. Knock it off. Fucking insensitive babies. Oh, my feelings. God, grow up. I'm so sick of that shit. Go wind up TikTok.
The Irish were the ones that came out, after the big nonsense over Halloween costumes and appropriation. People were like, "Oh, you can't appropriate the Irish." And I was like, "Shut the fuck up. Let them have fun."
Yeah, the Irish don't give a shit. They like having fun. They have to. Have you seen some of the shit that's going on in Ireland? It's bad enough the British running half their country. All the wars with the British, and then the Vikings and the IRA. The Irish have had enough. Just let them enjoy their lives. All right.
The Irish are just Scots that you can understand. They're great people. Leave them alone.
Yeah. Well, I'll never forget that scene in what was it, Braveheart, where this is why you always talk to God. Sometimes it's the only way an Irishman can get a good conversation.
Yes.
Thank you, tall person. And some for you, Mr. Jack. Happy Fluoride Day. Oh, thank you, tall person. Happy Fluoride Day to you too. I shall drink some tap water in your honor.
We have well water, so we don't have to deal with that shit. Our stuff tastes good. Our water is actually the only water I can drink because it does taste good. Every so often I go somewhere where there's like city water, and if I want to drink a pool, I just go drink a pool. The Scots are Irish who don't like wet weather. It wasn't wet and cold enough. There you go. Fair enough. Correction, Scots are Irish with a speech impediment. Fair enough. Fair enough. All right. Exclusive ADL urged law enforcement to target opponents of transgender ideology. Is this the archive site? Yes, it is. All right.
Yeah, sorry. I gave you
No, it's fine. I don't know why it's doing that the last couple of days. You had sent me that article over on Twitter, so I can grab it there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And it doesn't happen with every article. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's fine, and then other times it's like every pop-up ever.
Oh, see, I don't get any pop-ups because I open it in Edge, and it sucks all my resources dry.
I don't use Edge because it sucks.
Yeah. Yeah, P-Dog was talking me into using Brave, so I'm probably going to switch to that at some point.
I might check it out. The only reason I use Chrome is because I used to use Firefox, and YouTube broke it. You couldn't do streaming through it anymore when they used to have the Hangouts.
Yeah.
And so I started using Chrome. It's the only reason I switched to this one. And I've tried to go back to Firefox, but God bless, that is a disaster now.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell they were thinking, because Firefox used to be awesome. And then it just shit the bed suddenly.
Take care, tall person. Have a good day at work, bud.
Yeah, have fun. We'll see you on the replay.
First on the daily, the Anti-Defamation League flags online amplifiers of LGBTQ plus hate as extremists to be examined by law enforcement. An email obtained by the Oversight Project shows. The revelation indicates that the ADL, the anti-hate organization, really, they just have different hate. Let's be honest about the ADL.
Yeah. They hate anybody that isn't them.
Yep. The leading anti-hate organization in the world is specifically pushing law enforcement to scrutinize viral dissenters against transgender ideology, such as the Daily Wire's Matt Walsh and the Manhattan Institute's Chris Rufio. The email was obtained by the Heritage Foundation's Oversight Project. They have parts of the email in here, right? The email bears the subject line, White Supremacist Fight Club's Anti-LGBTQ plus hate. That's the subject line.
I mean, I'd watch that movie, but...
It then paints a picture of, quote, extremist landscape, end quote. Threats of Islamic terrorism and alleged rise of white supremacist crews encouraging violence and online amplifiers of LGBTQ hate, promoting false narratives, escalating harassment of LGBTQ individuals. Now, we all know what the false narrative is. They always point to Boston Children's Hospital.
Yeah.
Which, as we just discussed just last night, was not a false narrative. That was 100% true. But because even these dickheads know that if people find out what they're doing, that it's going to blow up in their faces, they lied about it over and over again. They never did anything to children. Yeah, unless you take their word for it. One of their doctors is on camera bragging that the youngest person he did this to was either 12 or 14.
Yeah. Oh, wasn't it Boston Children's that got sued for like abducting that one girl who went in for, and they misdiagnosed her because she had some existing condition that was kind of rare, and they took her away from her parents and kept her at the hospital for like a year. You know what I'm
maybe.
talking
about? That one I don't recall.
I'll look it up.
Where are we? The section on LGBTQ plus hate describes content pushed by online actors, including the vilification of drag shows for children and baseless claims of child grooming by LGBTQ people, except for, the ones that we actually know were grooming. Remember, the chick from Harvard was taken back groomer. The ADL alleges that this content has further endangered and isolated an already at-risk community, noting that these accusations and stances have also been adopted by right-wing media personalities and disseminated on mainstream platforms. Da, da, da. Fuck these people.
Da, da, da. Yeah, it was.
Fuck the ADL.
It was Boston Children's Hospital.
Oh, there you go.
Right? Yeah, the girl was Justina Pelletier. She was diagnosed with myocardial disease as a child, and they admitted her to Boston's Children's Hospital because she came down with the flu, and her parents were accused of basically maltreatment. But they just got done settling a lawsuit. Johns Hopkins has been accused of the same thing, by the way, in a different case.
I saw a case the other day, and I haven't got to look into it real deep, but so take this with a grain of salt. It was a woman telling her story. She gave birth, Jack, and she gets home, and the hospital had tested the umbilical cord and found cocaine. And so they come and like, hey, CPS has to look into your kid here. We gotta check this out. And the family was like, we don't do cocaine. We even have the placenta. Test that. Their contention is that there was some mistake, some mix up at the hospital, right? They have passed every drug test is taken, including hair testing, which you can't really get around because it's in your hair and you can see how far back the drug use was.
Yeah.
Not a trace of it. A judge orders that the original sample be retested, and the hospital refused.
Of course they did.
I get taking care of children. I do. But some of these folks are overzealous and attack people who did nothing wrong.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Fucking disgusting.
Yeah. It's pretty grotesque.
If even half of what this woman said was true, everybody involved on the state side needs to be thrown in jail, including the doctors.
Yeah.
Chrome, thank you so much. Reminder that the ADL was founded to defend a rapist and blame a black man for his crimes, with claims so ridiculous that the KKK didn't believe it. Fair enough.
That does kind of set a bad foundation for your company or your group, brother.
It is true. I mean, that's what started it. Understatement. Thank you. Random update. Remember the FNF got demonetized and you speculated about their spending needs? They revealed their monthly expenses. Guess a range. What's FNF? Don't thank you for the donation. Don't donate again. Help me out with what FNF is.
Finger and fannies.
Well, hey, that's Nikki Haley.
Oh,
Fresh and Fit. That's it.
Oh.
I got it right before you wrote it. I get my credit. They're meant to guess a range of their monthly expenses. I'm gonna guess probably. Are we counting their take? You know what Fresh and Fit take?
We're counting the hookers and blow.
My guess probably between 50 and 100
dollars.
1,000.
Oh, wow! For their per month. Holy shit, that's a lot of money.
I'm including what they take home as their pay.
Oh, that's still a lot of money.
Myron ain't living cheap.
Yeah,
them sugar babies ain't paying for themselves.
You guys like, share, and subscribe so me and Monkey can get up to that level of success.
I want to be able to waste money on hookers. I'm not going to do it, but I want to be able to.
I want to be able to disappoint my family, but kind of already there.
But anyway, to that story, the ADL's out there, trying to get the government to go after Matt Walsh because he dares say that children shouldn't be at shows where men dressed as women have their balls falling out.
Yeah, and lives of TikTok, always a favorite.
That's another reason they really hate that woman, is because she is a woman and she's not supposed to be on that side.
Yeah.
Monk called it. Myron says between 70 and 100K monthly, including employees and equipment. See, told you.
I don't understand how you do that show on that much money. Like you are wasting an insane amount of cash.
Employees are expensive, and they have several employees.
Yeah, but I mean, really, what do they do? How hard is it to make a YouTube show? I know they have like a studio and all that shit, but do you really need an audio engineer?
Do you need one? No, but if you're producing a slick show, you want one.
Yeah, but I want lots of things. Doesn't mean I'm gonna have them.
See,
I don't need them
hang on.
badly.
You're thinking like a poor person, not people who are making enough money to spend $100,000 a month.
Yeah, that's fair. But I just look, if you want to stay rich, you gotta dial it back a little bit.
I wish you many employees is a Jewish saying. Is it really?
I would not be surprised because that is kind of a curse. You're responsible for all those people then.
Huh.
Yeah, I get they have to have somebody that hires people just to source the chicks, but I mean, most of these chicks are whores. Can't you just find a madam?
No, I mean, that's about what I would expect from that kind of operation.
That seems like they're really pissing money away. I don't
They
know.
they are, because what they're doing could be done a lot cheaper. Look at Pearly; she's not spending that kind of money. This is why they were so upset with losing monetization on YouTube. That's a huge chunk of money they lost. Have you ever seen any of their shows and just watch the chat light up, man? They were making good money off of it. Okay. So Jack, I pulled up the second story and it's been sitting here. I'm going to show you it just to show you what's happened as it's been sitting in the background. It is now entirely an ad. It's not just an ad, it's several ads popped on top of each other.
Wow.
That I can't close.
Yeah, hang on, I'll get you the hyperlink.
I can't even get to the link to get the right link from the top.
Yeah, give me a second. I'll just send you the original links. I don't know what's going
on. The average out at 6 live mics per with monitor outs, record outs, and broadcast. It can still be done cheaper. I mean, they didn't have $100,000 to start the show. All right, that one tells me that I can't reach it.
What?
If you look at the way the link presented, it still has archive at the top.
Oh, my bad. That's my fault. Hold on. I don't know why it did that. Oh, it joined up with a link that apparently I didn't send. There you go. It's the last one there.
All right. Let's try this again. See, Jack, if we had $100,000, we could have someone done this for us.
Yeah, but it took like 2 seconds to do. And
well, if you look at something like Crowder, right? Go back to Crowder's rise on YouTube. It's him, then it's him and Jared. Well, it was him and his brother, then him, and then him and Jared. Sorry, not gay Jared. And then you look at it now, and he's got like 20 employees total working for him.
Yeah, and half of that is extraneous stuff you don't need. Like, you want an audio engineer, fine, I get that. But how many producers do you really need? It's at best a 4-man operation.
Or if you have the money, you can make it a lot nicer and not have to do anything yourself.
Yeah, but I just don't.
Hey.
I mean, if you're not making TV money,
the thing, you see, you're minimizing how much money these people make.
I know, but they could be making more money because let's face it,
a lot saving more money. They could be saving more money.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Because it's a short ride. You know, you run a show on YouTube largely, and it's other social media networks. You could get shut down really easily. Look at how bad demonetization hit them. They didn't consider this. They didn't have a rainy day slush fund for something like this. That's just poor planning. It's bad business.
No, I don't disagree with you. I understand when you're riding high, though, it's hard to think of that. Think of those people who just got fired from the LA Times. They had a traditional job, y'all. You think they were only spending what they had to? How many of those people do you think now are in dire straits because they were living at or even slightly above their means, probably pulling down decent money there, but it's all gone now and they got to figure out how to live like a normie.
Yeah, a pauper, because
Yeah.
they're probably not going to be able to find another job that pays them what they were making there. If anything, they might have to move, and they weren't ready for that. So use your money wisely and give to me and Monkey. Our Streamlabs links are pinned at the top of the chat, going through the chat and in the description.
This is a story about the bill we talked about a couple days ago.
I can't remember if we talked about this one or not.
Yeah,
So,
exclusive. Maine moves to create sanctuary state for child sex changes. Yeah, this is regarding that bill that was going through their house, or I think it's through their house. It's in the committee, right? Last we saw.
Yeah, I didn't remember if we talked about it on air or it was an after air show thing. If we even talked about it, because I've been bitching about this with a couple people last couple days.
No, we talked about it. We went and looked at the language because remember, I had a problem that other people didn't.
That's right. My bad.
Everybody was looking at the part where it basically says, "Yeah, you can come here." What really got me was the part where they said that if a child isn't allowed to become transgender, then the state can take them.
That's the part that's really pissing everybody off, I think, that knows about it, because this is this kind of kidnapping or custodial interference?
It would basically be kidnapping, except for see, this is the part everybody got upset about. It's highlighted here. It prohibits the enforcement of an order based on another state law and authorizing a child to be removed from children a child's parent or guardian based on the parent or guardian allowing them to receive gender affirming health care.
Do you think Jeffrey Marsh is buying a house in Maine right now?
No, because Marsh gets away with it wherever he's at.
I'll be your parent. Come to my cellar.
Does this, I don't know if this article even, so far it's not even mentioning the part that I was talking about. Yeah, they skip over it. That is the part they put gender affirming care literally on the same level as physical abuse.
Yep.
Because the original part of the law says that the state can take custody of a child if it's been abandoned in the state, or the child, its siblings, or its parent has been physically harmed or threatened with physical harm. And then they add, or hasn't been allowed to gender transition. It actually says it's not getting gender affirming care, I believe is the wording.
Yeah. So you could go and live in scenic Maine with a bunch of migrant families that live better than you do if you make it to base. This is base in freeze tag.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm at base. You can't touch me, Mom. Ha ha, I hate you.
Yeah, it's a bunch of bullshit is what it is.
They're going to get a bunch of teen runaways. And then they'll all be child trafficked by the illegals that they brought in.
Yep, because it doesn't take any actual abuse. Just like, my dad won't call me she anymore.
Yeah.
Well, you're not a she. Oh my God, you just...
Maine just turned into Tumblr.
Yeah, it did. Yeah. Well, again, this is just moving through the committee. And the bill's actually been out there for over a year. And I don't know if it's still the same Congress, and that's why they haven't had to redo it. But it's sat in committee for over a year right now, and they were finally moving on it.
Yeah.
I didn't see if an actual vote had been taken.
I don't know. I just couldn't remember. I honestly could not remember if we talked about it on air because I have the memory span of a goldfish, apparently.
New York City DOE employee who claimed racial discrimination over demotion can pursue bombshell $90 million lawsuit, a judge rules. Of course.
No, this is good.
3 white females. Anytime I hear racial discrimination suit, I immediately roll my eyes.
I know.
3 white female executives who worked for the city Department of Education and claimed they were demoted in favor of less qualified people of color have been handed a monumentous victory in their $90 million blockbuster suit. $90 million.
Power of white women, dude.
As a teacher, really? Lois Herrera, Jay Murray, and Laura Fayho. Only 2 of those don't sound ethnic. Or sorry, only one of those doesn't sound ethnic. 2 of those very much sound. Herrera and Fayho. Fayju.
No, I don't know how to pronounce it.
Launched a lawsuit 5 years ago against then school chancellor Richard Carranza and the DOE under Mayor de Blasio. Oh, God, are they Jews? Because he hated Jews.
He does seem to really hate the Jews.
Claimed staff were being discriminated against based on race. They probably were. The city launched a motion to dismiss, but this week Judge Mary Kay something ruled that the women offer evidence of a policy of race-based discrimination. You know what, Jack? This is why the other day when we were talking about the Civil Rights Act and all the Republicans, fuck the Civil Rights Act. The Civil Rights Act is actually how you fight back against this.
Yeah.
Because of the wording of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, what we've seen is a direct violation of it. Speaking exclusively to the Post for the first time since launching the suit, the 3 women detailed the crippling effect the case had on their lives. It's been going on 5 years, I imagine. So the demotion and sidelining has had tremendous negative impact on my life, said Herrera, who had been working as the CEO of the Office of Safety and Youth Development when she was abruptly stripped of her title and replaced. I suffered from depression and trauma. Really?
She's a woman.
And trauma. Had the trauma. From being unjustly removed from my position. I was subject to I don't care how much trauma she went through. It's wrong to do, even if she was happy-go-lucky about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, play up I was so traumatized. That gets me a bigger reward. But you should be able to sue without having to be sad by it. You were wronged.
Yeah, but sadly, you'll get more money for the trauma than you will for the actual offense.
I was subjected to international public embarrassment and social isolation. Well, that's because of you filing the case, not for me being removed. Fayho, who had worked as a senior superintendent for labor and policy. Can I just say, New York, you guys have too many administrators?
You think? That sounds like a made-up job in a fake dystopian communist regime.
Yeah. When she was replaced by an underling, said her career had been permanently altered. Yeah, absolutely. Opportunities to continue to do what I love have disappeared. Hey, white women, you made this shit happen. Most importantly, I would love to see what their statements were about DEI kind of initiatives before they were removed.
Oh, they were all for it.
Both Herrera and Fayho have since retired from the DOE, while Murray still holds a position but works from home with no title, no supervisor, and no district role. At the time of the lawsuit, Carranza's DOE was accused of a crusade against toxic whiteness. I feel like we heard about that.
Probably.
Seriously, is that a white woman? She does not look white to me. That's got to be Herrera, right? See?
It's white adjacent.
That's a Mexican lady. Stop.
With inherent white supremacy. It's internalized.
Herrera claimed in the suit that she saw a sea change almost immediately after then mayor appointed Carranza as chancellor in 2018. A month later, LaShawn Robinson, then executive director of the DOE's Office of Equity and Access. Seriously, how many fucking departments do you have for your Department of Education?
Well, one of the biggest problems we have in this country is bureaucracy.
Fuck. Allegedly told white attendees of a training seminar that they had to take a step back and yield to colleagues of color. we've got to have talked about this before. This is way
it
too
does
familiar.
sound really familiar, doesn't it?
And recognize that values of white culture are supremacist. Robinson was not named as a defendant in the suit, despite being Harvard educated and being recognized as recently as 2017 for contributing to the safest year on record in city schools. Herrera was dropped three rungs on the ladder. Fuck.
Yeah, that's a rough one. Without
so much as a formal search or interview process, Herrera was replaced by a black man, Mark Rampersant, despite him being demonstrably less qualified. Herrera said she was required to attend Rampersant's promotion ceremony and repeated her request for a new workstation. Were met with her belongings being stuffed into boxes and stashed under a headquarters stairwell. Wow, she pissed some people off in that office.
Did they smack her in the face with their dicks on the way out? Like,
when he took over, she was told that when Rampersant took over, Herrera's Spots Murray was okay. So when that guy got put in, the other chick was told that she would now report to him, representing a demotion. It wasn't long before Murray was demoted another 2 rungs. Wow.
Because she complained about it, probably.
Well, good. I hope they win the case, and I hope people pay attention, because seriously, if you want to stop this shit, one, make it hit the white women, okay? Because they're the ones who push this stupid shit. Pat was absolutely right when he mentioned that earlier in the chat.
Yep. Well, Pat's a wise man, so
he is.
And if you haven't been watching this show, you should.
2, use the fucking law. If you go all the way back to when we first start Lords of the Night, me and Scribbles used to talk about how these policies are blatantly fucking against the law.
Yeah. Yeah, they fly in the face of everything that black people fought for.
The whole notion of doing this stuff based on race is fucking illegal. And as much as I hate Lyndon Johnson, it is because of the signing of the 1964 Civil Rights Act.
Yeah. Which should have got through under Eisenhower, but they didn't want to let a Republican do it.
Ring will no longer. I don't want to sign up for the AP. Fuck you guys. Every time I go to an AP article, they're like, "Do you want to make us your homepage?" No.
I think everybody should just support Adonis Paul. He does good work.
That AP I like.
Yeah.
Ring will no longer
visit LostTejas.com.
Indeed. Ring will no longer allow police to request doorbell camera footage from users. Good. Yeah, that should have always required a warrant unless the people wanted to do it. Amazon owned Ring will stop allowing police departments to request doorbell camera footage from users, marking an end to a feature that has drawn criticism from privacy advocates. I have no problem with the police requesting it. I have a problem with it being immediately granted.
Yeah, it should have the same thing that my doormat says, which is "fuck you, get a warrant."
In a blog post on Wednesday, Ring. Well, it would depend, Jack. If I got robbed and the police were like, "Do you have Ring camera footage?" I'd be like, "Yeah, right here."
Yeah, but then you can hand it over.
Yeah.
Ring doesn't just be like, the cops want to look at all your surveillance stuff, so we gave it to them. Oh, by the way, some of those cameras were in your house, so they saw you dancing around singing Miley Cyrus.
Yeah, because the problem wasn't that the users were doing it. The police were going to Ring, and they talk about it here in just a second, but they're going to Ring because Ring gets copies of all the video and going, "Hey, can we have a copy of that?" from them instead of from the people whose camera it was.
Yeah.
In a blog post on Wednesday, Ring said it will sunset the request for assistance tool, which allows police departments and other public safety agencies to request and receive video captured by the doorbell cameras through Ring's neighborhood app. The company did not provide a reason for the change because people are rightfully pissed off that they were getting around. What would that be? The Fifth Amendment, the Sixth Amendment. Does it touch on the
your
fourth?
persons and papers. Fourth.
Persons and papers, self-incrimination. Yeah, I don't know if it would touch on any others, but those for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think they probably lost some business from some big cases that were out there about them just handing over footage to the cops.
Yeah.
So they probably were like, well, maybe we should institute a privacy policy.
The update is the latest restriction Ring is made to police activity on the Neighbors app following concerns raised by privacy watchdogs about the company's relationship with police departments. Critics have stressed the proliferation of these relationships. The user's ability to report what they see as suspicious behavior can change neighborhoods into a place of constant surveillance and lead to more instances of racial profiling. Oh, that's how they did it. This is leading to racism.
Yeah, they could couch it that way to cover their ass and be like, you can't say anything to that.
Well, that's how you get the company to pay attention. Hey, they're going to use this to arrest Black people and Mexicans.
Do you know what it's doing to Black and brown bodies?
Yep. Forget the actual privacy stuff. I guarantee you that's why they did it right there.
Probably.
In a bid to increase transparency, Ring changed its policy in 2021 to make police requests publicly visible through its Neighbors app. Previously, law enforcement agencies were able to send Ring owners who lived near an area of an active investigation private emails requesting the footage. Again, as long as they're actually requesting it from the people and the people are like, yeah, sure, you can check it out. I have no problem. But if you want to see it and I tell you no, then you need to go get a court order. That's how it should work.
Yeah.
You snuck another article in here.
Did I?
Yes, you did.
Oh,
woman who married a ragdoll admits their family life is complicated after she had twins, saying her husband is stressed out about providing for the family. This crazy bitch again.
I love this woman. She's the most entertaining person on the internet to me. I don't know why. It's just her level of insanity is just it's a form of brilliance.
Let's see. Woman who married a ragdoll admits that it's complicated. A woman who married a ragdoll. If you guys have, we've followed her for a while now. Yeah, it's been a while since we talked about her.
Yeah, I don't know how she got her kid back because remember he was abducted and then she had the twins.
He got kidnapped.
Yeah, but they got him back. I missed the whole return saga because her timeline's a little hard to follow. The media coverage is inconsistent. But then she had the twins, and that's where we're at now. Now her husband is really stressed. Remember, he did cheat on her before.
For those of you who don't know or not familiar with this story, her husband is a doll.
Yeah, a literal doll. He's not a real person.
And not even like an anatomically correct human-looking sex doll. This looks like somebody made a fake giant Raggedy Ann. Do we have pictures? Oh yeah, there's the family right there.
Aren't they adorable?
Why do her kids have such big eyebrows?
Because their dad has a big unibrow that he shaves in the center, I think.
By the way, he's cheated on her before. Yes, exactly, man. He cheated on her.
Yeah.
With his non-penis.
I bet he's got a strap on in there.
I bet he doesn't.
Well, how else would she get pregnant, monkey? Duh. Of course he's got a penis. He's got a crocheted wiener.
Marivone Roca Morales, 37, from Brazil, has previously hit headlines for revealing details of her relationship with Marcelo, a life-size ragdoll, and their ragdoll kids, including 1-year-old Marcelinho and 2 newborn twin daughters, Marcela and Amelia. But having a full household is providing a challenge for the mother of 3.
What is a woman?
Who explains that they share parental duties. So sometimes he leaves the doll on the floor.
I guarantee you this woman has like a psychotic cleanliness about these dolls.
Look, I'm going to be honest with you. If I wasn't married and lived near her, I would try to bang her because she is crazy.
Oh yeah, she's I find her very unattractive, but she's probably great in bed. And
I bet she's a freak.
I would be willing to bet that as much as she's a freak, it's if you carved up that doll, there's probably a skeleton inside of it.
Oh my God. I hadn't even considered that. Marcelo might have actually been a real person.
Yeah. Like, because he was gifted to her because she's lonely and, a spinster, and her family felt bad. But I bet she at some point unstitched him and put the bones of some boyfriend in there.
It's not easy, but at the same time, I get emotional every moment, every second. In everyday life, Marcelo and I have a lot of tasks with the new babies. Yeah, changing diapers of babies that don't actually pee or poop is probably rough. As well as looking after our first child. You should probably get that child looked at. His development seems stunted.
Yeah. The whole
He has a-
family looks like fetal alcohol syndrome.
They do.
Sorry, Apex. So that's it. I'm done.
She said that the couple find joy in having their home filled with love, laughter, and children. Sweetie, if you're hearing laughter, you probably need to get seen.
No, her house is haunted. It's all in her head. I hear laughter. Her neighbors are like, the lady with the dolls is laughing to herself again.
Even when I'm tired, he, Marcelo, the doll, helps me bathe, eat, and sleep.
I would honestly watch a documentary show about her neighbors and what they go through. I would watch a show about her. Don't get me wrong. It'd be a TLC classic, right up there with Honey Boo Boo and all the other sideshow freaks. But her neighbors are the ones I'd be interested in hearing their experiences with her.
The expenses are increasing, and he has to pay for food, clothes, rent, water, electricity, medication. Therefore, he has been a bit worried about affording the bills. But despite his concern, he always dreamed of having a family and children. So this is all he ever wished for, she said. Yes, this crazy bitch actually takes him out.
Yeah, they have date night.
This is her pregnant, y'all.
No, that's just her being fat.
God damn, I'd never seen that picture before.
Oh, man. I find this to be the most fascinating of all the crazy people we cover.
She added, my dream now is to own my own house. Marcelo better get a better job.
Those kids are going to have to work in the mines.
Since our wedding in 2018, I've been scouring the internet every day. I won't give up. The couple's relationship has taken many twists and turns over the last 2 years, from cheating rumors to kidnapping. Last year, the couple hosted a gender reveal in their home, surrounded by 40 family members and friends.
I hope she writes a book someday and it's translated into English because I want to read it.
Why has nobody made a horror film about this?
I don't know. I was thinking the same thing. Like, there's so much potential for a story like this where he actually is alive and he kills people. Or she's like trying to abduct somebody that looks just like him.
Well, I think you hit on it.
There's so much potential.
Right? She gets this doll and she falls in love with it, and they have babies and everything. Did they really fake an ultrasound? Oh my God. I'd never seen this picture before either. That is a fake ultrasound going on right there.
Yeah, I kind of followed the twins saga a little bit, but she's got an Instagram. So yeah, I just hope this lady gets a book deal or a TLC show or something, because I need more of the ragdoll people in my life. It's one of my few guilty pleasures. It's just so riveting.
Oh, I'd forgot about that. Following the alleged cheating, Marivone said the love rat, talking about Marcelo, was made to sleep on the sofa, and she even took away his penis.
Yes, because it's detachable on Marcelo.
As a punishment, Mervino decided to detach his dildo penis. Meanwhile, in February, in a dramatic turn of events, Marivone claimed their baby Marcelino was being held hostage by captors who were demanding 161 pounds for his release, or I don't know what that stands for.
Pesos, I think.
Pesos, lira, whatever the fuck she gets.
Yeah.
Loonies.
That was where we left off with her last time that we talked about her, was the kid had gotten abducted. The hostage photo just looked like a random shack in Brazil.
Yeah, did she ever explain how she got the baby back?
That's the part I missed. I missed how the kid got recovered, because that was part of the saga, but the mainstream press really didn't cover it, and I was too lazy to translate the Brazilian articles that I came across.
When you have to hold your husband up and he hasn't been drinking, that's not real. Just saying.
Yeah. This is love in its purest form, monkey. It's called delusional love, and it is the purest form of love. It's not obsession, because it's not real, and there's no other real person to be involved with.
Yeah, so there it is, guys. Our update on the crazy, what's it, Brazil, right?
Yeah.
Crazy Brazilian chick. You know what this makes me wonder, honestly, though? Let me put that back up on the screen for me. Because this crazy bitch has gone to some great lengths, right? Do you think Marcelo here has pubic hair?
Yes, but it's all crocheted in.
Does he have ass hair?
Probably not. He seems like the kind of guy that have a smooth buttocks.
I just wonder how far she took this.
Well, at some point, his hair's going to have to turn gray from aging.
That will be interesting. Well, she could just like put flour on it.
No, because they're going to grow old together, and he'll eventually be an invalid that she has to take care of and push him around in a wheelchair. As like you'll find this old Brazilian woman pushing around this wheelchair with a ragdoll in it. I want to know how far and how long this epic can go. I want to live long enough to see the ultimate conclusion to this, because it's not just a journey; it's an epic saga, one for the ages. This is like El Cid or Beowulf of our time.
This is a crazy lady who's getting attention because social media exists.
Yeah, it's awesome. This is the fun type of crazy, not like the Tumblrite weirdos that we always
say
talk
that,
about.
but you also said that there might be bones inside that body, so I'm not sure how safe it is.
Because she doesn't live in my country, I'm cool with it.
I guess
That bitch is nuts, dude.
She is, and God bless her, man.
Guys, don't get your wiener anywhere near that chick. Your bones will end up in a ragdoll.
I hope she's boning Marcelo right now, honestly.
I do too. Hey, good for Marcelo. Maybe he's got. What if? Oh my God, I just saw this. There was a Friday the 13th, the series episode about one of the cursed objects that would let you jump into someone else's body. And in one of the episodes, two of the protagonists got captured while they were transporting a couple cursed objects. And the guy broke his leg and he had to save the chick. So he used that to put his soul into a scarecrow. And then maybe that's what happened, is Marcelo is a real soul trapped in a ragdoll body.
Corey asks, I want to know if any of Marcelo's family showed up to the party. Thank you for the donation. If I remember right, wasn't there like family animosity?
There was some family issues.
Her and her in-laws don't get along or something like that, if I remember right. I feel sorry for Marcelo. Now that led me to a question. Who do you think has been touched inappropriately more, Marcelo or Teddy?
Oh, Teddy.
Probably Teddy. Marcelo doesn't quite look crunchy yet.
Yeah. Oh.
Ladies and gentlemen, on that note, we're going to wrap this one up. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us. That lady is insane. I'm glad you snuck that article in, because I miss her. We haven't talked about her in years now.
It's since the abduction saga.
Since the abduction, yeah.
Thank you, Tyrai. Don't we already have murdering doll movies, though? Yeah, but this is in Brazil, and it's a rag doll. I mean, yeah, we got Annabelle and Chucky, but and the creepy marionette things from like Punch and Judy, dolls, and Dead Silence, but this is different. This is a fun sort of nutso.
I just imagine it like if you made a movie of it, you could go two ways. You could go horror, or you could go the mannequin route.
Yeah.
Remember the mannequin with what's her name in it?
Kim Cattrall.
Kim Cattrall, yeah, before she became a dirty whore on Sex in the City and kind of ruined the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could have that where that's actually a real guy and we just don't see it, and it's because the lightning hasn't struck right or whatever.
Yeah. I would also say it could be a romantic comedy. Like Weekend at Bernie's kind of thing.
Can I also just say, now that I brought up Mannequin, I miss when they used to have really quirky, clearly gay black side characters in movies.
Yeah. Yeah. Beverly Hills Cop.
They were always fun. They were always the best part of the movie.
Yeah.
Anyway, so guys, thanks for watching. Thank you so very much for the donations. You guys are amazing. We appreciate it. And there's never enough words to express our appreciation. Jack, anything you want to show?
I'll drop some links to some cool videos. As always, like Monkey said, we always appreciate it. Thank you for the donations. You are helping to sustain us and get us through life so we can keep doing this show. You guys are awesome.
I may game stream in a little while. I don't know. If I do, it'll probably be several hours from now. But twitch.tv/rantingmonkey, still playing some Pow World. If I do that today. If not, we'll do it tomorrow. I just got really tired all of a sudden, Jack. I didn't sleep well last night because I ate too much and got heartburn.
Oh.
Yeah. It happens.
Yeah, that sucks.
I made the mistake of going to sleep. I was so fucking tired. Had dinner and immediately went to sleep. And didn't give my body any time to adjust to all of the food I shoved in it. Don't go to sleep right after eating, guys. It's a bad idea. But if I do it, I'll probably forget to tweet it out. So just, pay attention to Twitch. Jack, thanks for joining me, my friend.
Always glad to be here.
Everybody have yourselves a wonderful night, and we will talk to y'all next time.
Bye, everybody.
It's been more than 24 hours since I told you what a whore Nikki Haley is. She's probably on all fours with 5 men right now.
Jesus.
'Cause she is.